Welcome to Kohut's Corner. I'm Mr. Kohut, principal at Swampscott High School. Today's edition of Kohut's Corner focuses on everyone's favorite topic, well, at least everyone in New England's favorite topic, the weather. Swampscott High School is lucky enough to have 3 faculty members who have a background in meteorology, as well as 1 budding meteorologist student. So we'll begin with our first guest, Mr. Casey. Welcome.
Thank you. So I'm Mr. Casey. I teach weather and climate course here as well as chemistry. So my background is in earth science, a geology major. That included a lot of climate courses and paleoclimate courses. And my real interest in weather developed as when I was younger, spending time outdoors with my family, camping, hiking, especially spending time up in the mountains. And this picture of me here on the summit of Mount Washington, which is, I took a course up there, a day up there. We took the snowcap up the mountain, got to walk out and experience the weather and see how they forecast and measure the weather up there on the top of the mountain. So that's sort of where my interest is being outdoors, understanding the weather, and so bringing that to my students.
Worst weather in the world, right?
That's
Mount
what
Washington.
they claim, yeah.
Very cool. Mr. Mackay, welcome.
Hi, I'm Mr. Mackay. I teach physics here at Swampscott. My background is in meteorology. I went to college down at Florida Tech, and weather's not quite the same down there for sure. I was a meteorologist at NBC in Orlando, and it just wasn't as exciting as the weather here. Case in point, here's a picture of me building a snowman. This was the April 1st blizzard we had in 1996.
Okay.
So I was 8 years old there, and it just goes to show, April, snowstorms, anything can happen.
Sure, sure. Welcome. Dr. Radley, welcome.
Thank you. Again, like everyone else here, and interested in meteorology at an early age, remembering things, the Worcester tornado in 1953. Also, I guess my big meteorological event was the blizzard of 1978. Weather experience, I've got my master's at Texas Tech. Then I went to the University of Missouri later on as an instructor in their atmospheric science program and managed to get my face on a poster advertising the program. Luckily, people came to the program.
Sure.
After seeing that. But I got to do my lifelong dream as Eric. I got to do some TV weather at KRCG in Jefferson City, Missouri, and now back at Swampscott High School.
Welcome, Doctor. Finally, Mr. Ferragamo.
Yes, thank you. I am Michael Ferragamo. I am a sophomore here at Swampscott High School, and I've been into weather for as long as I can remember, since 2011, June 1st, 2011 specifically, when the Springfield tornado struck Springfield. And watching the news, seeing all the radar displays really kind of helped that interest in meteorology. And ever since then, been researching the weather, and here I am. I'm actually, I'm lucky enough to have my own show here at Swampscott High School. So here's some work that I've done with Ferragamo's forecast.
I've been asking many of you, I know Doctor and I have had many conversations about what we think is going to happen this winter. So I thought that would be our first segment, is just discussing what are your predictions for the weather? What do we think is going to happen? So personally, I have zero background academically in weather, but I do spend a lot of time on different apps and a lifelong New Englander, so I've certainly seen my share of weather. I do not remember the blizzard of '78, but I remember numerous other snowstorms. I remember the Halloween storm that wasn't quite a hurricane, right? But it was still pretty strong, the perfect storm, right? So my prediction for snowfall, 45 inches. I also, I'm thinking that we're going to have probably a warmer than usual winter. Most of the snow is going to be coming February through March, and maybe we'll get a little bit in April. That's my prediction. That's just based on a combination of the Farmer's Almanac and intuition. Mr. Casey, what do you think?
Forecasting weather, especially sort of longer term weather in New England, is tough. Like you said, in Florida, it's pretty straightforward. At 4:30, you get a thunderstorm every day. You know, as weather comes across the United States, it comes across this sort of continent where it doesn't modify, it gets close here, and we get the ocean influence, and warm air can come up from the Gulf. And we've seen a pattern set up so far this winter where we've had fairly warm temperatures, not a lot of precipitation. It looks like it's going to get cold over the next few days, and whether or not that sticks around, we'll see. My prediction, sort of looking at sort of historically what we've gotten in sort of this type of weather, I think I went about 54 inches, figuring, you know, a little bit right around average, and sort of figuring maybe a snowstorm or two, February and March, to boost us a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. 54 inches. Okay. Mr. Mackay?
So my prediction, for one thing, it's in New England, we kind of get these sort of phases we go through. The big thing to look at is the El Nino. So the map I have here kind of shows what departures from the normal are expected. So if you're in the green, you're expected to be wetter than normal for the next upcoming months. If you're in the orange, you are expected to be drier. So we're kind of in the neutral area. So I would expect something close to average. We've already had our blast of warm weather that we normally get, so I'm thinking it's going to get colder, but I don't see a lot of snow coming.
So that's 40 inches.
40-inch prediction.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Dr. Radley?
All right, my initial thought was when we had the cold November, early December, and the snow, I thought, well, this is going to be a good winter. Of course, then the rest of December and January came along. It's been much warmer than normal. I've just been looking at some of the observations. Alaska and Northwest Canada has, actually this morning, 53 degrees below zero. So there's cold air on the map, but when it's cold air, it's generally warm here. But looking at what I've been looking at, I think that trend is going to change. That cold air pole is going to move to the east. I think February, especially, even not this weekend, but next weekend, may start with a snowy event. I think February will be cold and snowy. March, I think, will warm up a little bit, but be snowy as well. So I went out on a limb, went with 63 inches of snow for the winter.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
And I also kind of think that we're going to get a slightly above average winter in terms of precipitation. So I did 60 inches of snow. And February is definitely going to be cold. You can already see it coming on the 7-day and 10-day forecast. But I think the jet stream is, a few times this winter, it's going to be in a perfect spot for us to get storms. And as long as we can get precipitation when it's cold, like next week, then we'll see a couple of storms, good storms too.
Okay.
And like, I know like a saying of the meteorology community is all it takes is one, you know. Blizzard of 78, the 78 was a quiet year, and then all of a sudden in February you had monster snowfall. So I think that's definitely gonna probably be in the cards for early to mid-February. You can pretty much say throughout the month of February. And I think definitely March will deliver too.
Okay.
You can look at 2018 for that, you know.
Sure.
The past couple of years. So I think we'll get a good decent snowfall this winter.
Thank you. So I think we're all on the same page in that it's coming, so to speak, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining me on Kohut's Corner for our predictions for the winter. The plan will be we'll meet again in April, and we'll kind of see how things shook out, right? And then you'll be awarded the grand prize, Kohut's grand prize for weather, whatever that is, TBD. And thank you for joining us on this edition of Kohut's Corner. And also thank you to Mr. Doulette's Period 3 class who did the production first semester of Kohut's Corner. They did an excellent job. Next semester it will be a different crew working with me, so they've done an excellent job. So thank you to those kids, and thank you to Mr. Doulette. And once again, thank you for joining us on Kohut's Corner.